Hey there! Well, we're down to one more day in this year, and I just want to get this out of the way. Happy New Year's to all, and we are almost done with Ray Donovan. We got 2 more episodes to go, and we are finished until the next season. And this coming off of recent news that we are confirmed for a season 7 of Ray Donovan, so I'm excited to see what happens next season, but for now we got 2 more to go. This week we have Baby, which, carrying into the title, I will basically see what down the line that the title of this episode means. Sort of inexplanatory. Many sources claim that, obviously, this is coming off of people that have seen it in the East Coast. I live in West, so it's mostly all local time for me, but there are some sources that have been hailing this as one of the best Ray Donovan episodes out right now, and this feels like an episode. Continuing almost immediately where the episode leaves off after Ray, winds up getting his ass beaten by Rand. He winds up being thrown out a window and is on the run from him, bruised and badly beaten. Because not only was he clobbered in the face, but he also jumped out a window from, a 2 to 3-story building, which no mere human being should ever last that long. And to make things worse, he's got glass shards all over his body and everything. And it's just, ugh. But yeah, he's bruised and badly beaten as he goes to a diner and calls up Samantha and basically gives her the evidence on, what our mayor told Ray last week, which Ray got recorded thanks to his friend in the security business. Samantha picks up the evidence, takes it back to her place, sits on it for a bit, and waits for the perfect time to use it. In spare time, Smitty and Bridge wind up getting prepared for their move from Brooklyn to Pennsylvania, and in hopes of a better life for themselves. And from there, in between those scenes, Bunchy and Terry talk about how they wish for new lives that they could live from all the chaos and destruction that has bestowed upon Bunchy, because, all this season his life has been nothing but a great big train wreck. I mean, not only is he, mentally unstable, much like Ray is, but it's also that he wants to try and live a new life just because the life he had with his girlfriend and his little baby getting returned back to the mother, it tears him to pieces. He just doesn't want to live the life anymore. And even in one portion, Terry basically tells him, don't do it, don't commit suicide, not worth it, any of that message. So Smitty comes down and prepares to leave with Bridget to their move, but unfortunately, as he comes down to the car and tries to figure out where she's gone, unfortunately, Bridget has been kidnapped. Yeah, something big has happened. Bridget has been kidnapped, and Mickey, awaits at Ray's apartment to try and ask for the money, but unfortunately, that will have to be pushed aside as Ray receives the call from Smitty about what has happened, and it of course leads to Ray and Mickey and the whole Donovan gang to try and get together and work out a plan, and how they're gonna basically slam the doors on all of them. The corrupt police and all that, the ones that have kidnapped Bridge. Let's talk about where Bridget is being possibly held. For the moment being, we don't know the exact location, but all we can tell is that Officer Mack basically has a hold of her. And throughout it, basically, Mack is there supervising Bridget and her hospitality. But we'll move on to other scenes that feature both Bridge and Mack and all that. So Ray gets the recording back from Samantha as Ray calls up Mack to give him the news that he's got the recordings back. But unfortunately, that's not up to Mack to try and let her go. No, it's up to Rand to let her go. Yeah, that corrupt guy. The corrupt guy that Mack works for. Basically, they want to stay low for a few days, and then they'll negotiate getting her back. Which, yeah, actually kind of reminds me a bit about Grand Theft Auto 5, which in some portions of the game you're not allowed to play like certain characters. Like a few times, like some of the characters have to stay low until they're available to play once more. So like first mission, let's say, like something big happens, he and the law and all that, they have to lay low undercover for a few days. Or at least until a couple of missions pass by and you can actually play as them again. So that's what happens here. Basically, Ray calls up Daryl, grabs Smitty and Daryl and whoever else to go in and come up with a strategy on how they're going to save their daughter. As Terry walks on by to his apartment, that's when he sees the FBI there as they're arresting Bunchy. You can obviously know why he has been arrested. So, need I say more? So as Terry is going to get to the car to, like, sort of call up Ray and tell him the bad news, that is when, it turns out that Samantha kept a duplicate of the recording and is showing it to her people at the Tribune and the elections, all that, the campaign, all that, and it turns out that Novak isn't actually dead. That's actually the people that explained the fake video. But let's move on, because I'm just a few paragraphs away from finishing this, so moving along. Ray hears from Samantha, basically the whole backstab ordeal has happened, and there's not much Ray can do about it now. And who knows what's going to happen with them. Basically, Smitty and the other group basically decide to lay low. Ray basically telling Terry just to stay cool for a bit as well. Not to be involved a bit with it, so it's good news that at least Terry's not involved in any of this. But the group composing of Bunchy and Smitty and Daryl sitting in the bar, obvious joke reference here, they're all sitting and waiting for a very specific guy to come in and to basically kidnap him. The guy's name? Hopefully I'm pronouncing this right. Bianchi. They basically have to kidnap a guy named Bianchi at the bar. And successfully, they do so. They kidnap him, they take him out to a big, watery distance, like, abandoned area, where they can just try and get information out of the guy in privacy with nobody noticing. What else happens is, like, in between, like, all these scenes, you see portions of basically Officer Mack just sitting down reflecting on his life and the film that he's basically put on, turning on the TV just to keep Bridget a bit entertained, has a character in it called Baby. And it's like, it sounded so familiar. It's like, baby, why have I heard that one before? I go and look it up, and it turns out that that when they're referring to baby in the episode title, and even when they're watching it, it's referring to Dirty Dancing. I'm not kidding when I say that. This episode is referencing Dirty Dancing, which I believe I have not seen Dirty Dancing, so I may need to rewatch that one again, because as far as I know, the ones I've seen are Footloose and I believe Flashdance, but not Dirty Dancing. I still need to see that one. Again, I don't know. But of course it's basically Mac reflecting, seeing how his hands all tied, and how Rand's basically saying, you do what we say, and your family will be spared. So basically Mac's hands are completely tied and forced to do whatever Rand tells him to do, and all that. Also, a little bit of inconsistency when Mac goes to put on Dirty Dancing. A little nitpick, but there's one portion where Mac turns on the TV, and what you see on top of the TV are like an old VCR, and what I can only see is a digital like converter for like the antennas and everything, because you know the whole digital antenna ordeal that happens right now. You gotta have an older TV, if it requires a convertible box, transmit into that. Yeah, you already know about that. But anywho, basically, as he turns on the TV to go and put on Dirty Dancing, they play a Showtime boxing match on that TV. Inconsistency. It could have been some like local channel or whatever. It could have been blank or something. Maybe it could just be like, I don't know. Just something could have been fixed there, but just nitpick, plot hole, inconsistency. Like nothing that makes sense in the very slightest. Ray and the gang basically take their guy out, beat him, find out his whereabouts, find out where Bridget's being held, and from there, they basically leave the guy with Smitty to take with him, as the rest of the gang basically are going out to try and rescue Bridget from Mac. And as all this wraps up, we have Samantha posting the article, we have Smitty taking Bianchi, as I've explained before, and the rest of the gang going to scope out Bridget in the house that she's being held at. As Ray goes down to the basement, where Bridget supposedly is there, unfortunately, she's gone. Where has she gone? Who knows? Because it's another ordeal where basically I believe, like, after, like, Matt got the call from one of his guys that Bianchi got kidnapped, that's when, like, Mac had to take matters into his own hands and bring him somewhere else. Bring Bridget somewhere else, or just keep her somewhere where Ray won't know where she is. And that's Baby. Well, many sites are saying this is one of the best episodes of Ray Donovan this season. I would say the one where I went a little bit overboard on the analyzing in one portion. I can see why. This, like, during all this, like, when you see Mac with Bridge and how much that he's doing all he can to try and make sure that his family's protected, all the trouble he's in, like, it's all relatable. it's like an ongoing struggle, and even in between the moments where Mac and Bridget are watching Dirty Dancing on the TV, there's one portion where Bridget basically wants to have Mac shut it off because, well, it gives her like a little bit of a struggling past. Like, it brings bad memories of seeing her mother pass on, and it's something that Bridge does not want to live with. Not in the slightest. Probably the best of the best, and I'd have to agree. Certainly one of the finest, and I will say that this is a definite A. Not an A+, but an A. Flat out, all capital A. That's it for Baby. So, I'll see you guys next week for episode 11. We just got 2 more episodes this season, and I'll be done with Ray Donovan this season. Until season 7 comes out. But still, either way, I hope you guys have a wonderful, happy new year, and down the line, I will see you next week for the new Ray Donovan video next Sunday, but also, probably within a few days, I will give you guys an update on the channel, sort of tell you what's going to happen for the next few days, what the plan is, all that. So, you have all of that to wait for, so what else can I say, but I'll see you guys later for the next videos. So, ta-ra.